Here on the Young and Dumb Show, we speaking to Gen Z, right?
Okay.
So that's young people,
Could
right?
could I speak to that really quick?
Oh yeah.
Gen Z, millennial, what's some of, I don't know what I am.
There's baby boomers.
Boomers, I'm none of
Gen
that.
X.
All of those words are creations of Madison Avenue in corporate America to socially control people and to commodify their lives and sell them stuff. And I'm very hesitant in diving into that, because I think with each generation, you're picking up from the previous generation the same legacy and issues. And when we're talking about young Black people and Hispanic people, people who have been purposely marginalized in this country and continue to be, you're kind of, as a, what are you guys?
Gen Z.
Gen Z?
Yeah.
You guys are still dealing with the issues that your parents dealt with.
Yeah.
They just come at you in a different form.
Yeah.
So if you really start believing these Madison Avenue people prescribing to you that, your lives are so much different than your parents, it kind of causes, I think, a divide.
Yeah, I agree.
Regards.
Yeah.
So I don't.
I agree. Good point. I agree. I think, when I use it more with the connotation of like, because we go through some of the same issues as our parents, right? And people who may be older than us, we should understand how we can handle it differently.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And I think, and this is something that every generation suffers from. Yeah, you know what? Doing your scholarship and your history about your own family history and what happened in the past, that gives you the information and the tool set and the critical thinking and the wisdom that you will need to navigate your present world.
That's a fact.
And we don't, it's unfortunate in my generation. I hate people who wag their finger. My generation was no different. I always hear people say, back in the day, no, back in the day, the same shit was happening.
Yeah.
People were getting killed more, actually, back in the day. But, it's, I think it's very important to understand that, the way you solve these really complicated, challenging problems is scholarship and understanding what happened. And the reality is that from my generation to yours, some of us know more about celebrities and stars that we never met than we know in our own family.
Or about ourselves. About ourselves.
You just dropped the jewel.
But I guess, okay, so let's speak to that. Why do you think that is?
I think it's a number of reasons. I think to be American is to lose yourself, and you have to. It's a lot of distractions in America. And America is, it's not a terribly driven place on education or critical thinking. It's a place that's really based on spectacle and entertainment and consumerism. And as a result, people are not invested in their own, I guess, growth and evolution.
So what are some of the ways that you feel like young people can learn themselves, be invested in their growth? Like, because what does that look like? Because I really feel like when we really think about it, it starts in the school system, right?
Because it starts at home.
It starts at home,
and then the school.
The neighborhood. It starts like in the system. What's good, y'all? Are y'all having a hard time starting conversations in large rooms? Do you need to find more effective ways to draw attention to yourself without wearing a fancy outfit? I figured out a hack. You need some Financial Revolution merch. Everything is a staple piece that represents Black wealth. You are what you wear, so make sure you join the rest of the billionaires and get some FR merch. We have hoodies, sweatsuits, t-shirts, and much more. Make sure you visit www.financialrevolution.com and use code podcast for a special 10% off. Again, go to www.financialrevolution.com and use code podcast for a special 10% off. Let's get it, y'all. Right? So if the system is not designed to teach me how to grow, teach me how to learn about myself, what's the stepping point from now? I realize I'm kind of messed up.
I think
what's the turn? What do I do after that?
I think you have to, first of all, acknowledging that is called self-reflection, right? And self-reflection leads to accountability, right? And I think once you acknowledge that, wait a minute, something isn't right. I think if you're a courageous person, if you're a person who believes in real evolution and growth, you're gonna do something about it. So now, what do you do about it? Yo, I'll give you an example, right? Yo, if young black kids your age got totally distracted from this pop culture shit, and I don't mean stop loving music, stop loving art, stop loving fashion. I mean stop letting corporations dictate to you what's hot, what's meaningful, what's real content. In other words, imagine if your generation said, yo, that shit is corny to get a record deal. That's corny. Only suckers do that. Cause you know, the real shit is to be revolutionary, and yo, we're gonna go, it's independent, we're gonna produce our own music. Yo, we're gonna go to the hood ourselves. Yo, I'm from Brownsville, I'm gonna do a concert in Brownsville every week. Then I'm gonna get up with my man over there. We're gonna do a concert. Seth Low gonna have and you start pulsating that creativity and that intellect within. And then you decide how you administer your art and your thought without the labels. Yo, we would have more control of our destiny. But everybody want to get popping because their eyes, the spectacle. Yo, I want to get a deal. I want to get a deal. You get a deal. Pull all those people who got deals in here. See how happy they are. See how much resources that they really control in their community. They don't control any.
But okay, the contrary to that will be that you said it, like media trains us to want the stuff that's popping. Yeah. And everybody ain't gonna make it though. It's a mindset thing though.
Yes, it is.
But how do we change the minds of the people so that they want different?
I think people have to be awake. You can't get anyone to start making better decisions if they are still asleep. You have to jolt people with truth. People have to be awake. And unfortunately, not everybody going to come along. Some people are going to go along with that ride. Because listen, whiteness is very powerful. Like we don't understand how most people, it's not just your generation, my generation, they really don't know the history of America. First of all, America is not that old. It's a very young country. And it's an empire. It's not a country, it's an empire. An empire is totally fixated on power. And when you start thinking about us, all the people in this room, people who have a rich history, this country didn't appreciate that. They excluded us socially, politically, economically, right? And as a result, we still figured it out in certain regards. But what we never did is we never had an opportunity to build within our own community without being interrupted. Because one thing that America and whiteness has, they're fixated on us. And when I say that, imagine taking your generation out of America, my generation out of America. When you take blackness out of America, what do you have left? So we don't appreciate that. We want to get in with people who don't want us. They only want us to entertain them or vanish. So we, it doesn't sound comfortable to a lot of people, because then when you say, hey, do your own thing, people are like, damn, but what does that look like? What does that feel like? But look, the shit you chasing don't feel too good either when you get it. And you don't control it.